8 months. That's how long the basketball world has gone without seeing Caitlin Clark compete at any level. No WNBA, no showcase games, nothing. The last time she touched a court for real basketball was July of 2025, and now, in the middle of March 2026, Team USA just dropped a flood of content from their training camp. And what you're seeing in those clips is not just a player returning, it's a player who looks like she never left. This isn't just about camp hype. What's happening in Miami right now is actually telling us something much bigger about where Caitlin Clark's game is going, and what version of her we're about to see when the WNBA season starts. If the footage coming out of this camp is showing you anything, it's that the people running Team USA have a very specific vision for how Clark fits into this roster, and it's different from anything you've watched her do at Indiana Fever. Once you understand what that role actually is, the entire conversation around her WNBA future shifts. If you've been following this story and you want the real breakdown, not just the highlight clips, hit that like button right now. We're going deep on this one, and you're going to want to be locked in for everything that comes out of this camp. Let's start with the backdrop, because it matters. Right now, the CBA situation is still unresolved. Fans are online speculating and complaining with zero official updates hitting the wire. And while all of that noise is circling, Team USA is doing something deliberate. They are flooding the timeline with content, clips, photos, behind-the-scenes moments, and the focus keeps landing on Caitlin Clark. That is not an accident. Someone made a strategic decision to position this camp as must-watch content, and they built that strategy around one player. What's interesting is who Clark is sharing that spotlight with: Kelsey Plum. These two have been the constant pairing in practice footage and off-court photos coming out of Miami. Now here's a number that puts both of them in proper context. Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Plum together have accumulated over 7,000 combined NCAA scoring points. That places both of them among the highest scorers in college basketball history, men's or women's. When you put those two players on the same team, you are stacking offensive firepower at a level that is almost unfair to prepare for. But here's what the box score mentality misses. Both of them being elite scorers isn't the reason this pairing works. It's actually the reason it needs to be managed carefully. Two players who can each dominate the ball don't automatically complement each other unless one of them is willing to change what they do. And based on what we're seeing in this camp, Caitlin Clark is the one making that adjustment, deliberately. For anyone watching her at Iowa or during her first 2 WNBA seasons, the mental image is a half-court operator. Deep threes from the logo, pick-and-roll creation, heliocentric offense with the ball flowing through her. That version of Clark was electric. But the coaching staff at Team USA is apparently running a different experiment, one that could permanently expand how every team in the league thinks about deploying her. The role they appear to be building for Clark here looks less like a traditional shooting guard playmaker and far more like a full-court tempo controller. Think less isolation architect, think more floor general. Someone who grabs the ball the moment a shot goes up, pushes before the defense can set, reads the floor 2 passes ahead, and turns transition moments into easy buckets for teammates who are simply faster than whoever is guarding them. That is a different skill set to develop. And the fact that Clark, coming off 8 months away from competition, looks comfortable operating that way in these early practice snippets, that says something real about what she's been working on. Before we get into the personnel breakdown, drop a comment below. Do you think Caitlin Clark should be running the full offense for Team USA, or does her best basketball still happen in the half-court? Genuinely curious what this community thinks, because the coaching staff appears to have already made their call. Now let's talk about what this means for the other guards on this roster, because the role assignments here are not obvious. Chelsea Gray is on this team, and she is elite. Make no mistake about that. But the role she plays right now in her career is very different from what Team USA needs at the point of attack. Gray is a half-court genius. She creates in isolation, runs pick and roll at an extremely high level, and scores efficiently in set situations. What she's not doing at this stage is pushing pace relentlessly from the opening tip. She's the type of guard who can be the engine once the play starts, but she's not the one triggering the transition before it begins. Caitlin Clark fills that vacuum in a way nobody else on this roster can. The comparison that comes closest is Magic Johnson, not the scoring version, but the orchestration version. A player who gets the rebound, immediately accelerates, reads 4 defenders repositioning simultaneously, and either scores or creates something better than a score before the other team has time to react. That's what Clark's basketball IQ actually enables, and it's genuinely one of the fastest processing speeds in women's basketball today. Here's what makes that processing speed so misunderstood. Some of Clark's turnovers are dead ball situations, where a pass goes out of bounds because she and a teammate weren't reading the same window at the same moment. From the outside, those look like bad decisions. From the inside, they're usually high percentage attempts at shots that, when they connect, produce easy baskets that never would have appeared in a half-court system. The risk-to-reward calculation is different from what box scores show you, and when the teammate catches up to what Clark is seeing, those same passes become highlight plays. That context matters right now because Paige Bueckers is also on this roster, and her role adds another dimension. Bueckers has been upfront about wanting to play a utility function for Team USA, referencing a Devin Booker-style role where she plugs into any lineup and makes it better. Coming off her UConn career, where she consistently operated within systems, deferred when it made sense, and still impacted the game in 3 or 4 different ways per possession, she is tailor-made for exactly what this team needs behind Clark and Plum. A player who can defend multiple positions, score when given an opening, and never demand the ball to be effective is one of the rarest commodities in team basketball. Bueckers brings that, and it gives Team USA coaching staff lineup flexibility that most national programs never have access to. What this camp is quietly revealing is that the offensive architecture for this team looks like it could be genuinely frightening for international competition. Clark pushing pace and initiating. Plum as a secondary creator who can shift into scoring mode instantly. Bueckers floating into any gap that opens. Gray operating as a half-court finisher when the game slows down. Kalia Copper attacking downhill. Jackie Young creating her own shot. The scoring options don't run out, they stack. If that's really what the complete version of this Team USA looks like, then the conversation taking place online right now, the speculation about the CBA, the roster debates, the camp drama, is all happening around the edges of a story that's actually much more significant. Because the player showing up in Miami 8 months removed from competition, looking comfortable in a role she's never been asked to carry at this level before, is not just preparing for an international tournament. She is showing every WNBA front office exactly how her ceiling gets higher. If this level of tactical breakdown is what keeps you coming back here, consider joining the channel as a member. Your support is what makes it possible to go this deep when everyone else is just reposting clips. The story coming out of Puerto Rico, when this team gets on the floor together, is going to answer a lot of questions that have been building for 8 months. We will be covering every development. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it, because the next video is going to break down what the completed Team USA roster actually needs to win gold, and which player becomes the most important piece nobody is giving credit to.